All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Joey. And in case you haven't heard enough about the select element today, we're going to get another 30 minutes of it right now. So I hope you're all excited to talk about customizable select multiple. So just an update from last time. We finished launching customizable select for like single select with a pop-up. And here's just like some cool demos. You can put images in your options, lay them out however you want, have cool animations, change colors, add icons, do all kinds of cool stuff without having to compromise on accessibility and autofill and all kinds of other great stuff. So there are other modes for the select element, which you may or may not have heard of, that you can control with the size and multiple attribute. And these these have existed for a long time. They're not part of customizable select. So you can put the size attribute on a select, and if you specify a number greater than 1, instead of being a button with a pop-up, it becomes this in-page thing that you can see right here, where the options are in-page and there's no button to pop them up. There's also a multiple attribute to allow you to select multiple options. And here's what both of them look like on desktop right now. And to like customize them, I guess, it was pretty straightforward given a lot of the things we did for customizable select already with the button and the pop-up. So here's what like my prototype version looks like for in-page rendering. You can see that every option has a check mark, just like they do for customizable select with a pop-up. And we have like really basic styling with like a border, inherited fonts and colors and stuff. These are all things that I just kind of copied from customizable select for the in-page version. It's pretty straightforward. Another interesting thing about the in-page customizable or in-page old select is that the keyboard and mouse behavior is pretty odd. So you can see this little video right here. This is like the old one, and I'm clicking on every single option, and it's multi-select. So I want to select multiple things, but every time I click, it deselects all the other ones, and that's because the old version has these like keyboard modifiers. So if you want to actually select multiple things, you have to like click one and then hold Shift and then click another one, or like use Control. And I don't even know what all the key bindings are. It's pretty crazy. And our accessibility expert, Aaron, like pointed this out a long time ago that like if we work on this, we definitely got to change this like ridiculous keyboard behavior. And so on the right, this little video here, you can see the new thing that I'm prototyping, where every time you click one, it like toggles its selection and it doesn't affect all the other ones when you have multiple selection turned on. So it's just kind of a cool improvement. I'm not sure if we can change the behavior of like the old select or not. Like, I don't know how many people on the web are relying on this keyboard thing going on. If we can change it, that would be cool. It's something that we might look into. But for the new mode, it's going to have the awesome new behavior. Another problem that we're kind of running into is the fact that select multiple looks very different on mobile and desktop right now. So I mentioned a bunch of times already that this is like the in-page rendering on desktop that you get if you give it the multiple attribute or the size attribute. This thing on the right over here, which is on Android, is what you get when you give it the multiple attribute. And you can't get an in-page select that has multi-selection or even single selection on Android. And I'm actually really curious, has anyone ever seen a website that actually uses this mobile select multiple? The only place I know it exists on the web is the MDN page for select multiple. That's where I always go to like to like show people. Yeah, it's not very widely used, and for a good reason. It doesn't have feature parity across like desktop and mobile, and the desktop version has like this weird keyboard behavior, so it's not very well loved. I
saw there's a question on the chat. Oh, it's not easily visible there. Yeah, speaker notes up over here so you can see that. Okay. Question on chat. Open. Look at that one. Sorry about that. Continue.
So right, so I explained the problem, and you know, when we're improving on this multi-select mode, I think it's a big goal that we like provide feature parity across desktop and mobile so that authors can actually build the same thing and build what they want on desktop and mobile instead of being forced into this like picker mode on one and the in-page on the other. We want to make it so you can have a button and a pop-up, select multiple on desktop, and then in-page thing on mobile. And some possible solutions for this are to, here's my favorite option. Option one is to require an explicit size equals 1 to get the button and the pop-up for select multiple on mobile or desktop. And this would like change the existing behavior of select multiple on mobile. We're not sure if this is web compatible or not yet, but I think it would be a really good solution. The other option is to like continue to like allow this diverging behavior with the same HTML on different platforms, and then try to like add more things on top of it to allow developers to at least opt into one or the other to get feature parity if they really want it. And again, we can like use the size attribute to do this. Size equals 1 means that it should be a button and a pop-up, and the size of greater than 1 means it should be like an in-page thing. And here's kind of this giant table I made to show the current situation and show like what I think we should do. So you can see like on mobile, this like left side is like what we get today. So today it's always a button and a pop-up. It always has this like drop-down thing, and we never get the in-page thing. But I think that with the HTML on that side of the table, we should be able to get the in-page thing, and it should be the same as desktop. And likewise on desktop, today we only get this in-page thing. We can only have a button and a pop-up if it's like a single select. And I think that we should get the button and the pop-up with multiple if you specify size equals 1 on desktop, and that way we can have the same thing on mobile and desktop. And yeah, going back to that, that's just like me drawing out solution 1. But I'd be very curious to hear if people have opinions about doing other things with this. So like some variations of this are like, I mentioned you can like set an explicit size attribute to like go from the current behavior of the mobile behavior onto like the in-page, and like use the size attribute to get the button and the pop-up on desktop. So yeah, the other problem with multiple is that the thing that like the text that's put inside the button on mobile is kind of interesting. So you can see in this video right here, when I select one option, in the button it puts the text of the option that was selected. And if there's 0 or 2 or more options selected, it says like 0 selected or 2 selected or 3 selected. And I'm not sure like how much people would actually like this or want to use it or build on it. So some options that we have for like customizable select multiple with a pop-up is that we could follow this and just, give this text that just says n selected or the text of the current option by default. And there's also a question of what should we do with the selected content element. So the selected content element is something we introduced with customizable select to declaratively clone the contents of the currently selected option into the button. So that way you can make cool stuff on the first page where, the images from the selected option are copied into the button. But this might not really make sense with a multi-select. And I think there's not like a lot of good precedent in this space. And if anybody has any thoughts about this, I'd be very happy to hear about it. But right now, my plan is to just make the selected content element not do anything when there's a multiple attribute. That's the way it works right now. And just leave it up to the authors to populate the button with whatever they want if they replace the button. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'd love to hear feedback, and whatever we decide on, we'll definitely need to get like standards consensus. And there's an open HTML standard issue about this like disparity between desktop and mobile. And there's a bunch of other customizable select follow-ups that I'm working on right now. One of the cool ones is supporting having an input element inside of a select. So right now, where we're at with the HTML parser, it doesn't really allow for an input tag to be put inside of a select for backwards compatibility. But we're working on finding a way to make it so that you can fit an input element inside there without needing script to like insert it. And also trying to find a way to make it accessible so that you can build stuff like this, where this is a customizable select with an input box at the top and allows you to like filter all the options. And this is a pattern that exists. It's not like super common, but it's really good for like super long selects that have a ton of options. So you don't have to like scroll down or try to use type ahead to like find the option you want. Another big follow-up project I'm working on is getting options to be slotted into a select. So you can see in this like HTML right here, we have some options that are being slotted into a slot element that's inside of a select. And right now this doesn't work because the select element just only looks like at its descendants in the light DOM for options. And hooking that up with the flat tree is a follow-up among many others. So that's all my content. I would love to hear feedback and questions. I guess I can start with the one that was on the chat. Okay, so a question from Eric Meyer. Does the new milkshake multi-select respond the same way if the shift key is held down as has to be for the old version when trying to select multiple options? The way I've implemented the prototype right now, no, shift won't do anything. Maybe it should. I would love to hear feedback about that.
Your shift does the range thing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, it sounds like a behavior worth preserving. Thanks for the feedback.
No, hold on to that.
I think some of the keyboard modifier behaviors on select multiple are not well known, like holding shift, holding control. Is it in scope to improve the UI, like add the checkbox like thing we have on mobile or something like that?
So can I go back on the?
Oh, yeah. Let me just get back over to the right. Okay.
So, yeah, so the new thing that I'm proposing that I prototyped is to have checkboxes to visually indicate which options are selected. The old select has like a very large UA style sheet to like show you what state the options are in with colors, which like varies on like whether the select is focused, whether the options are disabled, whether the select is disabled, and a bunch of other things. And the check marks are a lot better.
We're good.
Thanks, and please talk to me if you have any questions or suggestions for how we should tackle the open problems.